All right. Hello, everybody. Dirk Beveridge here, founder of Unleashed WD and the executive producer of We Supply America with, my goodness, a fantastic day, an exciting day, something that we with you have been working towards for a long, long time. I am excited to announce that, yes, today is the day. Today is the day. Season 2 of We Supply America docuseries is kicking off today with our first feature film that's going to feature an amazing organization, amazing people of First Supply in Madison, Wisconsin, and beyond. And we'll tell you about that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody come on in, please. Come on in. When you come in, let me know that you're here in the comments, please. Put it in the comments that you are here because I need to know that you're here, where you're from, your name, and all that. But come on in, and we're going to get started in just a couple of minutes here, all right? So just real quick, I am down in Palm Coast, Florida, bringing to you Season 2 of We Supply America from Palm Coast, Florida. I had to pause the tour just for a moment because I'm down here with my ailing father, but I was in Denver, and I left just a couple nights ago, and here was how I was starting to leave the We Supply America. This was my last night, a couple nights ago, sleeping in the We Supply America RV in a construction lot. Yeah, in a construction lot. That's where I found a place to park, and that's the sunset with the Rockies over there in the distance. And here is how I woke up the following morning, getting ready to pull out and park that for 2 weeks before I go see it again. So we are absolutely thrilled. A lot has gone into this. I see you coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep telling me that you're here. And we've got 3 amazing guests who are going to join us for this kickoff of Season 2 of We Supply America, championing the noble calling of distribution. We got Poehling Seymour, the president and CEO of First Supply, who's going to join us. And we've got Will Quinn and Dennis Dixon from Infor joining us as well. Okay? Hey, guys, keep coming in. I see it. We're going to get started. I need to refresh my Diet Coke, but we're going to get started in exactly 2 minutes. Here we go. Come on in. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I got to tell you something. My heart is absolutely full seeing you all coming in, saying that you're here for Season 2. Let me just say hello to a couple of you. Kyle, man, thanks for being with us. Tom, you've been there from the very beginning, man. Really, really appreciate it. Hey, guys, here is Jordy Bellamy, our filmmaker. All this creativity, the filmmaking you're going to see. Jorby, thanks for being there. He's in Scotland. He flew over to Scotland last night to do a big project with an amazing company. So, Jorby, thank you for everything. Ron, thank you for being here. Matt Jones, thank you. Natalie, Steve, Rumi, man, there's a story there. You guys get me. Steve, Wait, I got to do that to Steve, all right? Inside joke. Chris Blaylock, man, great to see you, man. The entire team from Whipfly. Man, we appreciate your partnership as well. Thank you for being here. Kyle, Michael, man, there's so many people. Susan Merlo, man, you're one of my favorite people on the planet. Thanks for being with us. Mark, you know I've learned so much for you. Keep coming in, everybody. And then I'd also like to say here is my partner in the business, Bethany Hepler, our VP of Design, coming at us from Kansas City. Woohoo! She says, keep showing that emotion, Bethany. And I couldn't do what I do without Bethany. Everything you see coming out of Unleash and We Supply America, it's the two of us doing it all. So Bethany, thank you so very, very much. All right. So guys, keep coming in. Let me know you're here. And by the way, as we go on today, if you have other comments and thoughts, please let us know. But let's get this thing officially started. All right. So for those of you who don't know, I have been crossing the country for the second summer championing the noble calling of distribution, the backbone of our country. Now, in addition to the tour stops that we've had, creating these great experiences for the employees of distribution, we have created a docuseries, our second docuseries of 8 broadcast quality films that showcases distribution businesses and, importantly, the people behind those businesses. Now, our goal over the next 8 weeks, as we premiere each of these 8 films, our goal is to inspire and it's to inform, so that this channel of distribution, so that all 30,000 distribution businesses, and so that all 6 million professionals, so that you, all 6 million professionals that have chosen distribution as a career, our goal is to ensure all of that, the channel, the businesses, and you thrive. Our goal is to inspire and to inform, to help that thrive occur. So in this season, we're going to be featuring some amazing businesses and telling their stories. And you guys, it all starts right now. In a post-pandemic world, leadership is being redefined. Forces outside of our control and forces within our businesses are calling us to be different leaders than we were going into the pandemic. Both new and veteran leaders throughout distribution are showing the way forward. These leaders are the noble generation. These leaders we need to meet. This is We Supply America, Season 2. So I am excited and I'm touched by the stories you're going to see, yes, today, but for the next 8 weeks. And these are important stories. These are really important stories. So, so that you know, let me see if I see it there. Yeah, I had to jump ahead. So the 8 distributors that we are going to share with you in these 8 documentary films, there were 3 themes that we wanted to really uncover this year. We wanted to uncover, of course, continue to champion the noble calling of distribution. We wanted to explore what I truly believe is happening that the very nature of leadership is changing more rapidly than ever, and the future of distribution is being defined by this, what I call this noble generation of leaders. You're going to see that. And the third thing is to learn about those that are playing the long game. All right. So let's get into this. I've got some great guests. We're going to be rolling the first film in about 19 minutes. All right. So let's get some individuals in. The first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to thank our partner in four. You guys, we could not do We Supply America, produce these films without the help of Infor. I got to tell you, the people of Infor are amazing. They saw an idea on a napkin of We Supply America last year, and they signed on. And man, they have supported distribution for years. They've supported We Supply America for the last 2 years. And so let's bowl in two individuals who I have the greatest respect for from Infor. I'd like to first say thank you to Will Quinn and Dennis Dixon, both of them from Infor. You guys, thank you for joining us. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for joining us. Quickly, guys, I'm already putting us behind on the schedule. Do you believe that? But Will and Dennis, could you introduce yourselves to everybody joining us? Will?
Sure, I'm Will Quinn. I'm a strategist here at Infor. Happy to be here. Spent my whole career in distribution, running distribution centers for Coca-Cola, MSC, and Granger. And we really support We Supply America. And just glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Will. And Dennis, good to see you, my friend.
Yep, good afternoon. My name is Dennis Dixon. I'm a client account executive, been with Infor for nearly 10 years, supporting distribution logistics clients the entire time. Great to be here.
Awesome, thank you. Hey, Dennis, we were talking offline about why we are here. What's the reason behind it? And I'd love your thinking behind that, and to just share that passion, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we all have jobs because of distribution and logistics. Yeah. It's what we do every day. So, you know, at Infor, from the perspective of sales and implementation and overall support, we truly support every facet of the supply chain, from manufacturer to warehouse to ultimate sale of the customers, or to our customers' customers. So our goal from the perspective of, you know, digital transformation and ongoing change management is to facilitate that change of the, you know, ever expanding omni-channel sales and operations.
Yep.
And helping our customers simplify the way they do business with their customers, and ultimately help increase revenue.
Yeah, I love it, man, Dennis. And I loved how you said that, right? We're here because of these amazing businesses, right? And
right.
That are the backbone of the country, and that provides to us everything that our society needs, wants, and desire. And it's created all these jobs for you and I think it's fantastic. So thank you. And I know that commitment is deep with you personally, with Infor as a company, even in the way you build technology, that it's absolutely focused on the distribution as a business. So thank you so much, Dennis. Will, man, I got to tell you something, man. This summer, you and I have had some good times. You've been on a number of different. You were with us when we filmed First Supply that we're going to be talking about. You and I played some bagos at a KOA when I cooked some hot dogs for you over the campground, and we crossed this country together, basically. And so, thank you for that, Will. And just from your perspective, why We Supply America and Infor?
Sure. Well, thank you, Dirk. So, you know, why it's important to me, as I said, I spent my career in the distribution centers, doing the work that helps keep America going. And there wasn't anybody coming by and saying thank you. Most people didn't even understand.
Right.
So having spent so much time with you and seeing you at these different events, to see the sheer joy of the forklift drivers, of the supply clerks, as they come out to greet you as you're walking off the We Supply America RV, and you're come out and talk to them, and you going person to person, and then you just make people feel like they're so important, and just the individual touch that you have with them. You know, it's just so important. Like Dennis was saying, you know, we support distribution by having industry specific solutions to help them make their businesses run smoother. And then you're taking the personal side of saying, you know what, what you do is noble. What you do is important. Our country doesn't run.
It's true.
About what you do. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I'm waiting on pins and needles to see this first episode. You know, the photographers are amazing. Bethany is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Let's just get to the video.
Let's go. All right. Now, before we get to the video, guys, we're going to get to the film First Supply. We're going to talk to the president and CEO of First Supply, Katie Poehling, here in just a second. But, guys, I also know that Infor has had a long partnership with First Supply. And so I'm about to thank you guys, and we're going to pull in Katie here. Is there anything you'd like to say, right, to Katie and to the 700 plus employees that are watching right now at First Supply, knowing that we're going to be telling their story from the lens of We Supply America? Will? Sorry.
Well, I would tell Katie and the team, thank you so much for allowing me to be on site when you were there, Dirk. It's amazing. And, you know, hearing and seeing all the individuals and how they interact together. I thank you so much for being an amazing customer. I'm excited to see the video.
Awesome. Dennis?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't say it better, Will. First Supply is a long-time strategic customer of ours at Infor. And in the short time that I personally have been working with First and, you know, their overall team out in Wisconsin and Minnesota, I've been thoroughly impressed and honestly grateful for the consistent, you know, open dialogue and frankly the go forward thinking by this organization.
Yeah.
It's truly a breath of fresh air. So you know, First Supply is a true partner for me and obviously everyone else at Infor. So thank you.
Thank you. And Dennis,
125 years.
120, right? Yes. Say that again. I stepped over you. Say it again.
Congrats on 125 years. That's amazing.
And the next 125 years, right? It is absolutely amazing. Hey, and real quick, and Dennis, it looks like that respect is mutual. Michael O'Brien just signed on, and what he said is Dennis is the First Supply representative, and we're very happy to have him. So it looks like that's mutual. So fantastic. Hey, Will and Dennis, will you guys stick around? And then we're going to bring Katie in. We're going to roll the film. I'm going to talk to Katie. Then I'd love to talk to you at the back end as well. Will you guys stick around for me? All right.
Let's do it.
Guys. Yeah, thanks so very much. So, again, thank you to the entire Infor team and just the people there. It's great. Everybody that's connected to this is fantastic. So that brings us to season 2, film number 1, and our first featured distributor, as we've said, is First Supply, an amazing organization with amazing leadership, amazing people, and as you heard, celebrating their 125th anniversary. And so if you don't mind, before we roll the film in about 10 minutes, let's pull in the president and the CEO of First Supply, Katie Poehling Seymour. Katie, hello.
Hello, Dirk.
How are you today?
Excellent, but it looks like I'm slightly pixely still, but we'll go with it.
You know what? It's not as pixely as before. So there you go. Yeah. So Katie, welcome, and thank you for opening your doors, opening your story, opening your hearts when we were on site to try to capture the story and the nobleness of First Supply. So let me start by saying thank you for allowing us and trusting us to tell your story.
Thank you that you shine on our industry. You and the whole team, the undertaking that you've done to do this, it really does tell our story so beautifully. As we were getting ready for this, I actually shared the link with all my cousins. We're 5th generation company, but the 6th generation is graduating from college and starting to enter their careers. And I said, this is the perfect way to introduce them to our business and our industry and what we do.
That's beautiful. And it's one of our hopes, right? Is that these stories are used for that, right? To tell these stories to the next generation, and potential hires and potential recruits and all that. So thank you for doing that. And you shared the link, and I'll tell you a story. I'm down here in Palm Coast, spending time with my father who's ailing, and I last night in his bed, I opened up the laptop and I showed this film to my father, Katie, and I got to tell you, he turns 90 on Saturday, and he just lit up seeing and hearing the stories that we're about to show, and quite frankly, the goodness that he saw at First Supply. So it sounds like we were both sharing the story with those we know and love.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So 5th generation, you're sharing it with the 6th generation. What does 125 years mean to you and the entire team at First Supply, Katie?
It's, the story is 125 years in the making.
Yeah.
It's been all of the people and all of the families. I mentioned that in the
Yes.
video, talking about all of the families it's taken to get us here. And not only that, but our communities. One of the things that I've been so impressed with in our teams is every single department, branch, facility, store did a community service project.
Yep.
Donated their time, donated their resources, and everything from pet shelters, food drives. We did a diaper drive. We did a bunch of work with Boys and Girls Clubs, just all of the things people have done to celebrate. That was the idea of the teams.
Yeah.
Their way of showing how they wanted to celebrate this was incorporating our communities and truly just giving back to them.
Yeah, boy, that is something, right? And the pride, right? That I see in you, the pride that your team has in the local communities, right? To be able to give back. Again, I think it's truly, truly noble. Talking about your people, all right? Can I do something here? I'd love to. I pulled out, I call it a riff. Every so often, Jorby, who I introduced you to earlier on this, Jorby would stop me and he'd say, Dirk, what are you thinking in this moment? And he caught me in this moment while probably about halfway through the day that I spent with you and your team in Madison. And I was in the warehouse. And can I just roll that for you? Because I think it's about people that you were talking about. And I'd love to get your feedback, okay? So let me roll that. Here we go, all right? The future of distribution, it is about people. And it's easy to say, but what does that mean? It says we must invest. We must embrace every single individual throughout the organization. It doesn't matter what title, but it's a commitment to the individual to help them grow, develop. What do they dream about? What are they hoping to achieve? And then work with them to give them the opportunity. Ultimately, it's up to them, but to give them the opportunity to achieve their potential, to achieve what they're striving for. And when you do that, they grow and the business grows. Katie, when I see that again, I just go back to the time with you and your every employee I met. They were aligned to a vision. They worked together collaboratively as a team and a family, actually. And everyone there seemed to be they seemed to be wanting to grow the company and grow themselves. And it really touched me. And I think the future is about people and helping them grow and develop. So when you saw that caught me in that moment, what goes through your mind?
Well, thank you. I mean, that's just an incredible testament to the experience you had on site with us. But truly, it makes me so proud of every single person who walks through the doors in the facility, every single store, every single contact. I'm overwhelmed with pride for everyone and their experience and their stories and the team that it took to put this together. It all looks great and we have fun to do this, but Brian Lynch, especially, I mean, he's done a phenomenal job keeping me on track, keeping you on track, for heaven's sake.
Thank you.
Working, but really, he's got a fantastic event going on in the Madison facility right now, a whole premiere movie launch, and he's really done an outstanding job of getting this story told. But also Lori and Stacy and Nate and Jade and Mike and their willingness, and Jose, their willingness to tell their stories and share their experience. I'm just so proud that the list of people that we wanted to feature was a mile long. It was impossible to choose. How do we narrow down the stories? Because every single person's story is worth telling in our company. And I'm just filled with pride for the people and what we do and how we do it together, as you said.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you. And Katie, I say this, and where I feel most inadequate in this whole We Supply America movement, if you will, it goes to the heart of what you just said. Every individual has a story. I can learn. We all can learn from every single individual. We can be inspired from every single individual. And number one, as I'm doing the tour and I can't remember every story. And I feel, and that hurts me. It hurts me. And the same thing as we develop these films. We can't get every moment in the films but there's so much to the story. But that said, I think what we're about to roll captures part of that heart of First Supply, part of that 125-year amazing history. Your commitment to not just look back, but your commitment to look forward. And before we roll this in about 3 minutes, can you just comment on that for me, Katie, about the organization's commitment, and not just but to look forward, because you're talking to the sixth generation. I know there's a generation after that. Could you just share some of that with us?
Yeah, innovation's in our DNA, and I know we'll dive into it much deeper later, but we've had the opportunity to share some of our stories over the last couple of months as we talk about celebrating our 125th. And I have the good fortune of sitting in this seat this year, but it's been 5 generations of my family, and my grandfather was a phenomenal innovator, innovating literally how we distribute product and how we offload a soil pipe from barges that changed the industry. And having been able to be part of some of the things, unfortunately, we lost an industry icon this week in Herb Kohler. And him and my father had the opportunity to create the signature store concept and innovate again how our products were brought to market in the industry. And we're not done. We'll just keep going. We'll keep pushing forward. And there's so much more, not only in our physical innovation and partnering with our people like Infor on the technology side and our processes and procedures, but also how we think about things. And to your very point, Dirk, how we think about each other and coming together to be a different business and to serve our customers in a different way and to be even better than before.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, Katie, I've got about a minute until I roll this first film of We Supply America Season 2. Hey, everybody that's listening, would you just, if you had to say one thing to Katie, right before we roll this, based on which, give Katie a shout out, would you? Give Katie and the entire team at Infor a shout out, if you don't mind. I'd love to see that come rolling in. But Katie, you mentioned that in Madison and other places, there is an event going on to watch what we are about to roll. If you had a message to the First Supply team right before we roll this film, what would you like to say to your team?
Thank you, and don't eat too much popcorn. I think they were really going to have popcorn and movie snacks and everything. I hope that all worked out and came together.
I love it. Katie, thank you so much. Now, you're going to stick around. We'll come back, get your thoughts after the film, and then I'd love to drill down and talk to you about innovation, some other things as well. Okay? Katie, thank you. We'll see you in about 22 minutes, okay?
Thank you, Dirk.
Thanks. So you guys, it's that time. I left my home the day after Memorial Day, and all of that has been leading up to these next 8 weeks, which starts right now. And I am just super thrilled. I'm honored. I'm excited to bring Season 2 to you of We Supply America, championing the noble calling of distribution. And I am just so honored that we're going to start with First Supply. And here we go. First Supply, championing the noble calling of distribution. Here you go.
a post-pandemic world, leadership is being redefined. Forces outside of our control and forces within our businesses are calling us to be different leaders than we were going into the pandemic. Both new and veteran leaders throughout distribution are showing the way forward. These leaders are the noble generation. These leaders we need to meet. This is We Supply America, Season 2. Hello, Katie.
Hey, Dirk.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Are you kidding me?
Welcome.
What a gorgeous town.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
tell me about Whitefish Bay.
What's really cool about it is it's this nice little community kind of in the heart of the bigger
Milwaukee?
area.
Yeah.
So you've got all the cool stuff about a big city, but my kids go to school up the street. We go to the grocery store right there.
Can I tell you something? Yeah. I feel at home. Yeah. I feel at home.
It's a lovely community.
Yeah. Congratulations. 125 years.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
We appreciate this moment. We acknowledge that this is a special place to be. It's been fun celebrating the past. At the same time, we're really embracing our present and planning for the future. And again, I think the whole team, the whole family, everybody is just appreciative and respectful of all of the work it took, not just the Poehling family, but the thousands of families that have
that's made
contributed.
it happen, right?
Yeah. Our leadership team is responsible for about 700 families and making sure that we make the right decisions that they're still able to take care of their families. And that's important. And not only that, but our customers. That's one of the things that really drove our need to stay open and our need to keep servicing our customers.
Yeah.
You think about we're in this healthcare crisis, a pandemic, and our industry is responsible for delivering clean, safe water to our communities. We can't just stop doing that.
Right.
So, and being part of that network that does that, and then all of the families involved that do that, from our customers all the way through to our vendors, and it's a responsibility, so there's a weight of it, but it's also an exciting responsibility because we have the opportunity to do all of these things, and we have the opportunity to do them together.
I was raised doing puzzles and playing chess. My mom was very big in puzzles and chess and games, and to me it was figuring out the solution.
So if I heard you right, a key driver of what you do in process improvement is with your employees being the customer? Is that fair to say? Yeah, tell me about that.
Absolutely. Even as branch manager, always looking at, we're always asked to do more, right? Our budget next year is going to be more than our budget was this year, and finding people, especially the last couple of years, have been really difficult.
Yeah.
So how do you do it? You have to be more efficient, right? And then retaining people. So when you're listening to people, and the people who are doing the work are the experts, right? Yeah. So when you go in and you listen to, okay, what's your pain points? It's just like sales, what's your pain points, and how can we make things easier for you?
I think too, then we're actually asking the individual to bring more of themselves, to think deeper. And,
right.
Is that right?
Right, yeah. My boss had a really good image that he gave me with, you might have the right people on the bus, but they may not be in the right seats.
You bet.
And I think that's brilliant. That's exactly it. And use people to their strengths. And, I've worked places where if you can't, they would put a warm body, you're a person, we're going to put you in this role. And they fail because they're not the right person.
The belief is that every individual on the planet, right, has a unique ability.
Yes.
And if we can match up,
Exactly
you finish
too.
what I'm saying.
Yep.
Finish
I call it a superpower. I always
Yeah.
say that everybody's got a superpower. You just have to find it, and then it's something that they're good at, so they're happier and they'll be passionate about it. You can see the change in their attitudes and improvement in productivity and their personal growth. They just feel better about themselves too when you're, out. I would go out in the warehouse every single day and talk to people and how's it going and talk about it. And sometimes it's like, well, we have to do it this way because of what follows, but here's a change we can make.
I think we all have a human need to be wanted,
Yes.
to be recognized, and recognition doesn't have to be a lunch, right? It doesn't have to be a ring. Recognition can be giving them a voice. Am I hearing that?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How do you see leadership evolving from what it was to where it's going?
You have to connect more with the employees.
Okay.
You have to realize that each employee is different. The way you manage this person isn't how you're going to manage that one. And it's teaching our warehouse managers, and that's what I deal with operationally. How to manage those people better, and just you have to adapt to a lot more things that you wouldn't in the past. Obviously with the workplace and the job market and how hard it is to find good employees.
Yeah.
It's just really connecting with each one of them.
So this investment in the future, what does it mean to you knowing that the company does invest?
I feel privileged. I like
Privilege.
working for a company that cares about their employees and wants them to excel. It makes me feel part of the team. Every single day, and also being involved with a lot of the decisions too of how we're going to take our company to the next level. And just at a level of a role like mine, how involved they get some people, it's remarkable. They ask every department essentially, how we can make things better.
What importance to society do you place what First Supply does?
That's a good question. And our warehouse manager actually talked about it last week, and I'm kind of the same way. Like, you see these buildings going up, these hotels, these universities, all that. That's all potentially our product, or another distributor, but it's our world. That's how that's what fuels the construction world.
What are you striving for? What is Nate striving to achieve?
I want to make a difference. I want to be involved as much as I can, and I want when I retire someday, I want them to say, man, that guy was good at what he did, and that's what strives to be my best version of myself, in my career. So,
Is First Supply the place for you to become the best version of yourself?
100%.
What makes you say that?
I've certainly learned a lot along my ways, but the fact that I've been able to been given this opportunity with no college education, to where it's just all on the job learning that I've taken to get to where I am.
Can you give me an example of an opportunity that you never thought would have been possible for you?
I mean, the position I'm in now, I started out as an order filler when I was 19 years old in a beer warehouse.
Yeah.
And I moved on to, a regional management position for a $350 million company. So I've been very fortunate in my 4 years here. I've been given some opportunities that I never thought were possible. And it just, it goes back to that putting your head to it and, grinding your gears. And, I come to work every day and put my hardest in, and it pays off.
So we've got just some different finishes, so it makes it really easy when we are meeting with homeowners to be able to say, okay, visualize, your cabinets like this, your faucets like this.
What did it mean to you? And what does it say about leadership here when they ask you, are you up for the challenge?
It showed me that they believed I was the one who could, with my experience, my energy, and frankly passion for what I do. They believed in me to make that difference that they were hoping to see to take Whitefish Bay to the next location. So when someone, again, back to you're not just a number, when someone expresses the belief but then also follows through with, the conversations and the commitments. If I want the best of who's, a part of the team, then you have to take that time to talk to them. You have to
about their life.
About their lives, about what project they want to see through, just being able to have that open line of communication.
Dirk, if you said to me today, kicking off the meeting today together, you say, Mike, what's your biggest priority?
Yeah.
I would tell you it's fiscal first.
Sure.
But right alongside of that, and maybe even ahead of that, in order to get the fiscal,
Sure, right.
I've got to have the right talent.
Right.
We have to have the right talent. So my job is to teach teach every single individual in the organization the things that we can, from onboarding, from getting them into the field here. We like to get them integrated into the location first and then promote them to outside sales, wherever they may want to go.
Okay.
We do mid-year reviews, we do end-of-year reviews. We talk about, hey, Dirk Beverage, if you report to me, it seems like you want to get into outside sales. There's an opportunity in maybe Brainerd, Minnesota.
Yeah.
But our job is to teach them the position first. It's to train them so that they are able to promote themselves to the next level. And then finally, the last one, which is the most important one, is to promote them into the position they dreamed of. The thing that if we don't develop that talent, it will pass us by. You know, the people
What will pass us by?
This whole process we're in today, it will pass us by. We won't have the chance that is in front of us today because we're doing business different today. We're doing business today. Look at the pandemic, you know, I mean, man, how we made it, you know.
And we're not going back to the way it was.
No, we're not going back that way. But when I look at where we were, we had people working from home. You know, we had people that I remember when they came to me and they said, Mike, we have to send everybody home. You got to work from home. I went, this is impossible.
Right.
We can't do that. And the facts are, we can do that. And so when I think of talent, you know, from the distribution center all the way down, you know, 60% of our staff is still distribution.
Right.
And distribution, I don't care how good we are externally.
Yeah.
If we don't ship it to the right place
Darn
at
right.
the right time at the right price, we're dead in the
Darn
water.
right.
The future of distribution, it is about people. And it's easy to say, but what does that mean? It says we must invest. We must embrace every single individual throughout the organization. It doesn't matter what title, but it's a commitment to the individual to help them grow, develop. What do they dream about? What are they hoping to achieve? And then work with them to give them the opportunity. Ultimately, it's up to them, but to give them the opportunity to achieve their potential, to achieve what they're striving for. And when you do that, they grow and the business grows. How long have you been with the company again?
11 years.
11 years. Will you be here another 11 years, do you think?
I plan to be here another 11 years. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Why?
I enjoy work. I enjoy waking up. I enjoy coming to work, and I enjoy working for First Supply because they really do treat you like family. It's not like you're a number, an employee. You're like a family member with everybody at First Supply.
Yeah. You know, what I believe, Jose, is that going forward, leadership is going to require, the word I use is more humanity, really understanding what people's goals, dreams are, and to help them achieve that. And it sounds like that's happening here at First Supply.
It does. Every year, First Supply gives us an opportunity to list the opportunity of where you would like to go, if you would like to change roles, what you're interested in. And it's not just a question. They actually stand by it. They go through it. If you show something you're interested in, they will give you the opportunity to it. I was interested in outside sales. They gave me an opportunity to go try it for a few months.
Yeah.
And learn that in different areas. So when you really do state where you want to go in the company, they do make it happen.
That's amazing. It is. And so let's talk about the way, so you want it to go into outside sales.
Yes.
You tried it for 2 months, is that what I hear?
It was about 6 months.
6 months. And then did you decide it wasn't for you?
I did.
Yeah.
I missed the interaction with the customers at the counter.
Yeah.
My heart was at the counter.
Yeah.
My heart was running the branch, was being in the branch. I just missed it. I missed the interaction with the people that I've seen every day for 10 years. And First Supply pulled me aside, you know, how's it going, how's it going? And I let them know my heart wasn't there, my passion was there. And the company that they are, because of the cross-training, somebody was able to come into the West Bend branch while I was gone.
Interesting.
And run it, and then I was able to go back to my branch.
That is fantastic.
This was Emmanuel.
Yeah.
He was 3 months old. He was born July 13th, and he passed away October 12th of 2009. This was Jose.
Look at the smile, man.
Jose Jr.
Yeah.
He was born May 7th of 2002, and he passed away July 5th, which is the day he was born, the same day as when I was told he wasn't going to make it. There were days I didn't want to just get out of bed, but I will come back to. I mean, my son was in the hospital for treatments, and I would be at work and I would get told, get out of here, go home, go be with your family. First Supply gave me the opportunity to be with my son while he was pouring through his challenges, and I will forever be in debt to them because I would have missed out on more time. I mean, they gave me time to sit in the hospital with him, to watch movies, to play games, and my job was secure. I had nothing to worry about. First Supply put together a benefit for our son.
Okay.
And he was able to make it. This was while he was still alive, and there were so many people, and he just couldn't believe the
outpouring of love.
The outpouring of love, and from his community to his school to my company to people he didn't know, and that's why I say First Supply is like a family. They took us in and they treated us like family, and they took care of us through the situation. Life really throws you some curveballs, but I still get up every day, I still go to work, and I still enjoy it.
You know, I have this premise that even in this digital age, humanity is going to play such an important role in leadership going forward. So as leaders, let's continue to ensure we're giving the space to our employees to be authentically themselves. And as an organization, to also be authentic, as we saw with First Supply, an organization that truly is a family. And when Jose was in need, there was no question that authenticity said, we will take care of Jose through this time of grief. I think there's a lot of lessons there.
Thank you.
I think coming out of the pandemic, people changed how they talk about their work. They changed how, I think we were working in our homes for so long, right? Everybody saw our kitchen behind us, good, bad, or ugly. But really, everybody saw that part of our lives, that you maybe worked with someone for 25 years and you never saw the inside of their house before, and all of a sudden that was exposed maybe. But we've created this different environment in so many ways about how we live and work together, and we started talking about our health differently, and now we've even started talking about mental health differently. So I think all of that plays into how our employees feel engaged, and the ability to tell the stories that connect them to the history and that show where we're going in the future. Our vision is to distribute innovation and partnership to our communities for generations.
My goodness.
So we talked about distribution, that's what we do. So start there. We talk aspirationally about innovation, but we talk about really what we do every day as partnership. No matter if it's for a vendor, for a customer, for an employee, and for generations. We wanted to figure out how to wrap in our history. We've been here 5 generations, but we also wanted to acknowledge we want to be here for another 5 generations. So that's where we landed. That's our vision.
Where can I sign up? Where can I sign up? So where can I sign up, Katie? Katie, where can I sign up? Hey, would you all do me a favor? Would you put in the comments what you're thinking, what resonated with you, what touched your heart, what touched your mind? What are you taking away from the last 21 minutes or so? And here's what's going through my mind. I've got notes again. What's going through my mind is these businesses, these independent, family-owned businesses, First Supply, you are you are part of, you provide, that's a better word, you provide to the greater good. Just think about that. What I just saw in that film of First Supply is creating to the greater good. You hear about even process improvement being people-centric, making their lives better at work. You heard about Nathan, didn't have a college degree, and he's been able to grow into such great responsibility. You heard Jade talk about the belief that people had in her. You heard about Michael Miller, right? You heard Michael Miller talk about helping individuals grow into the job of their dreams. And you heard about Jose and the tragedy and how everybody rallied around him. There's a greater good there. And I think championing the noble calling of distribution is so important. And I think getting these stories out about First Supply and the individuals is just critically important. Yes, for distribution. Yes, for the individuals, but for all of us. So I really hope that you're taking a lot out of this. Continue to tell me what you took out of it. But I want to hear from Katie, as she has been sitting back there watching the film about her people. Now, Katie, before I get your input onto what you just watched and us to drill down on a few things, I'm a little concerned that we might have caused a riff at First Supply. You talked about Brian having popcorn, and but you told him not to eat too much. Well, here's Michael Miller, screaming out to Brian to give him the popcorn. So I hope they were able to figure that out. Do you think they were able to figure that out?
Teamwork, right?
All about teamwork. I love it. Thank you. Katie, man, I'm touched. I was touched then. I'm touched every time I hear that story, see that film. As you're watching that film, can you give us your visceral reaction? What goes through your mind?
I'm just taken aback and honored that we, again, have these stories to tell. I mean, we talk about being a family owned, family operated business, and all of that's true, but we're a family business as a family of people, and we mentioned it so many times, all the people who stories run this business, and it's really incredible. It's really special to be able to share, to be able to put together something like this.
Love it. Yeah, thank you. So let's talk about a few things. All right, let's go a little bit deeper on some themes in the film and beyond. So innovation, I've got, for the last 8-9 years, I've been on this crusade, right, to help distribution think deeper and harder about innovation and its importance and what it means and how to bring innovation. I know at First Supply, innovation is part of your DNA, if I can. It's part of the core. Can you share with us the meaning of innovation with you and your team at First Supply?
So Lori talked a little bit about the processes and procedures, all those things we need to innovate. Will talked a little bit about the technology we need to innovate. All of those things are table stakes when it comes to innovation. But what I think our team is really striving to do is innovate the way we think. Like I mentioned before, We had a senior leadership team meeting last week, and we looked at a couple of cases, a couple of scenarios. What if our largest vendor today became our smallest? What if our largest location today became our smallest? Wow. Why would that happen? Would it be because we entered a different segment? All of a sudden we started selling something else, so a different vendor became larger. What if we reemphasized things? What if that vendor was acquired or purchased and we had to change? And same with our locations. What if our strategy changed and all of a sudden some of the locations that are so important for us today, they didn't get any smaller, but other locations became bigger. So we just had this kind of mind-bending exercise. And really the goal wasn't to have a list of to-dos if these things happen. We didn't need a plan to pull off the shelf. What we needed to do is acknowledge that we have the appetite and the capacity to tackle these challenges, not if, but when they're presented.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of innovation I think distribution overall, all of us need to really push toward. And it's not going to be easy and it's not going to happen overnight, but Other story I love to tell is the first time I saw you speak and you talked about the dairy farming innovations and how that changed the way farming works and how people enter farming, especially dairy farming. That's the kind of thinking we need to have. And that's really that's the bed of innovation, right?
Yeah, it truly is. And I loved how you said it, to have the will to think in that way. So, and I don't think you could have 125-year history, right, without that type of thing going on. And, one of the things, Katie, that we do have as a bonus, when we're going to, with this film, is you and I spent about an hour and a half talking deeply about these things. And in this bonus CEO interview with you and I, we actually shared the story with me of your grandfather, or your grandfather, right, with the barges and the like. And it's a fantastic story of innovation. It really is. So, so from innovation, I think as that drives growth in an organization, it also then provides opportunity, right? Fosters opportunities for individuals in the organization. I think we saw that through and through the episode, through the film. But when you think about fostering opportunities for First Supply employees, what does that mean to you all?
I like the way you said that, because that's just how we think about it, is fostering opportunities, creating opportunities. They're not given, they're not granted. They're created for people to be able to jump on. But as I was thinking about it, I thought about a story. I always tell a funny story about my daughter when I'm talking to our teams. It's one of the things that we took away from the pandemic. I sent everybody an email every week, and I always shared a funny story about her. But the other day, she's blowing bubbles in her drink, like little kids do with a straw. And I said, stop it, stop blowing bubbles. And she said, Mom, don't you see what I'm doing here? I'm a genius. It was the first time she had figured out how to blow bubbles. And she just thought she'd invented this concept and just, Mom, look at what I'm doing. I'm just brilliant. And I think about how do we create that excitement, that joy of discovery, that feeling that what you're doing is genius and you can't wait to share it with everybody else, and you want them to be as excited as you are. And I hope really that's when our teams think about opportunities at First Supply, they have that joy and that discovery, and they want to drive for it. I heard that in the interviews, and I'm just filled with pride when we hear that.
Katie, I love it. And one of the stories that I think might get lost is the story that Jose shared, because his story is so emotionally charged and powerful. But to me, there's a story in there also about this fostering of opportunities. When he said that he was a branch manager, but he thought he was being called to be an outside sales rep. And he went and did that for 6 months and had this open conversation that you had invested in me to try that. It didn't work out. I'd like to go back. And you all embraced that, right? And I was talking to my father about that last night. And, I believe leadership's being reimagined. And at a time, leaders were taught up or out. Move somebody up in an organization or out they go. That's just completely been blown away and obliterated. It's not about up or out. It's about working with individuals, foster the opportunities that they can seize, and find the ones where they will shine, as Lori talked about, with their superpower. I think it's so cool. Yeah, so thanks for allowing us to see that. Hey, last thing then, Katie, too, the concept of entrepreneurship in the organization, right? Because I say this, I say companies don't change, transform, or innovate, people do, right? Mm-hmm. So I know this concept of entrepreneurship is real important at First Supply. Can you share your thoughts on that for us?
Yes, I love this concept because we can't all be entrepreneurs. I'm not an entrepreneur. Someone 4 generations ago in my family was the entrepreneur. But that doesn't mean that we want to stop working on the business. It doesn't mean we want to stop working towards something that's bettering the business, bettering our future, and doing something new and different in a way that we're reimagining. We're blowing the bubbles in our drink every day, right? We're making it better and better, and discovering new things. And we talk about an entrepreneurial spirit at First Supply, and that's when I really started looking into this concept, because we are all entrepreneurial in how we're working on this business, that we're so lucky to have had come to us over 125 years, but our desire to continue at 125 and more is what keeps us working on it. And I'd be remiss if I didn't do a little call out to Todd Rustle and Joe Poehling. My father is our chairman emeritus, and Todd Rustle, our CFO and chairman, who are the other two family members actively working in the business today.
Yeah.
But we work together. We meet on a regular basis talking about what the next generations look like, and our responsibility to make sure that everybody at First Supply finds those opportunities to continue to work on the business, work in the business. And no matter if it's doing something for a short time, like Jose that wanted to try something new and then move on to something else, we need every single person. We need every single person's intelligence and passion, no matter what seat on the bus, to use Lori's terms, no matter what seat it is that at that point in time, there are more seats. And we need to continue to engage everyone, because that's what's going to make the difference.
It's beautiful. Katie, thank you so much. This has been an amazing kickoff to season 2 of We Supply America. I'm just looking at some of the comments, and I'm going to stumble here because it's real time, all right? But let me just share with you some of the comments that have come up. Is that okay? So here's Michael O'Brien. First Supply and the overall family support for associates like Jose. It's why we're here and what makes a family business about family. Let's see here. Here's Lillian Sabin. She says, a company where people are the purpose, loved it. I'm in awe of First Supply. So, Kitty, you talked about that story from the dairy farming, right? The robotics. That's a company called Lely. The VP of sales at the time was Steve Freed. And here's what Steve just came in and said. He said, inspiring. Having been fortunate enough to have been an employer who cared, I can align completely with these lucky employees. And I think he makes a point there too, because you know what we're showing is this noble calling of distribution, these independent family-owned businesses. And Katie, I talked to a lot of people who have been elsewhere in other companies, and they don't have the culture and the ability to innovate and seek new opportunities as you're providing. So I think Steve makes a good point. A couple more, and then I'll ask you to just last comments. Here's Connie. She says, our history is impressive and our future so bright. Man, so proud to work for this company. Amy says First Supply is a family first company. Tom Crawford, thank you. Outstanding company. What a family. Wow. And and then here's Judy. Judy says, thank you, We Supply America, for featuring our story. We are so appreciative. Nice job, everyone. Look at that. Sharing the joy with everybody throughout. And I think Judy makes a good point too, right? We could only feature so many people. I think all 700 individuals could have been part of this film, right? And it's another thing I'll say on a larger spectrum. First Supply is representing season 2 with this first film, and we really appreciate that. So, Katie, thank you. Any closing thoughts from you?
Just thank you. We're so honored to kick this off, to be the premiere, and we're so honored that you have told our story again so beautifully and so well. And thank you to every single person who shows up every single day to serve our customers, serve each other, and to make our business better.
Katie, thank you. Hey, will you do me a favor? When you go to whatever branch you're going to go to tomorrow and in the coming days, will you hug everybody for me? All right. And please show my appreciation, my gratitude, and thank you all for inspiring me to continue what we're doing. Thanks.
Thanks, Dirk.
Yeah. All the best, Katie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So there you have it, guys. Season 1, we've kicked it off with First Supply, and boy, always learning from Katie and everybody else there. So where do you find this information? And let's continue the conversation. So if you go to wesupplyamerica.net, what you will find is this is where you find all things We Supply America. So you go to wesupplyamerica.net, and then when you click on this featured films, you'll see there that it says season 1 and season 2. You can go ahead and click there on season 2, and you will be brought to the films where you can find our first film, First Supply. You see it right there, and you can go to there. You hit the play button, and you can automatically start sharing that film right there on that page. Okay, everybody? And then you got the little story of it. And then I mentioned this CEO bonus interview. Katie and I spent probably about an hour and a half, and it's almost unedited. So many great insights there. So you can go there, click that button, and you'll get access to that bonus content as well. Okay, everybody? So WeSupplyAmerica.net. But if you don't mind, what I'd love to do is I'd love to continue this conversation with Will and Dennis from In4 to get their input in terms of what they just saw and experienced. So Will, Dennis, welcome back. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. Wow, right? Wow, I'd love to know. Will, can we start with you? Your initial reactions, man. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, I think.
I think that's the most prolific statement of 2020.
Right, right. You're on mute.
All right. So excited. So Josh, Jordan, Bethany, congratulations on another masterpiece. Dirk, thanks so much for championing. You're a national treasure for doing what you do.
Stop it.
I mean, what a fantastic story. So powerful. So many things. What you're talking about, the nature of leadership changing and it being about the individual and about humanity.
Yeah.
And you see that here. You see a company of people, of leaders that truly cares about their folks. They're not a means to get things done. They're individuals, and they want to see them succeed, and they want them to be happy in what they're doing and willing to do what it takes to see them try different positions to make that happen. So amazing. First Supply, thank you so much for being an amazing customer. Thank you so much for doing this video, and thank you so much for you do for the country.
Super cool. Yeah, for the country. I love it, Will. Thank you. Dennis, your initial reaction, bud?
Yeah, I will second several of the comments that were made in the chat by simply saying wow. And it's an inspiration to hear about family stories such as First Supply, and I'm truly proud to be part of it.
Cool. No doubt about it. Thanks, Dennis. So, guys, one of the things we mentioned is, in addition to the film we just watched, there's this bonus CEO interview that people can get access to on the website. And what I'd love to do is I just picked 2 clips, if you don't mind. And I'd love to just have a little give and take with you on those 2, because I think it continues the conversation that I had with Katie when she talks about innovation, when she talks about the change over the last 125 years and the like. So let me roll this one clip for you, and then I'd love your inputs on it, okay? Where I asked Katie about, change management and all the change they've gone through. And if she has any thoughts or tips in terms of, what it takes to drive change in organizations. So here you go.
As you look back at how this company has managed change over the years, pandemic most recently, you talked about work and all that. Any thoughts in terms of how you approach change management in the company?
I think when sometimes we've done it well, sometimes we
Sure,
haven't done
of
it
course.
well, just like everybody. But one of the things that we've managed some really big changes by having a plan. I think about my transition into the CEO role.
Yeah.
It happened suddenly. It happened when Joe had a stroke and got sick, that we had an emergency succession plan in place that we could pull off the shelf, and everybody knew about it.
Yep.
It was well communicated.
Yep.
Everybody knew what was going to happen, and we just worked the plan. And that made that change work well for everybody. Nobody was surprised. Nobody felt bad about it. They had an opportunity to weigh in previously. So it was just really clear and consistent, and everyone. Now, there were certainly elements of it that didn't go as smoothly as we'd hoped, but having that plan in place made it something that we could work through. So I took a bit away from that, from the standpoint of if a big change is coming, we need to have a plan in place that's going to get us through that change so that everybody feels like it's expected. It stops feeling like a big change then.
Interesting.
It starts feeling like that was the plan. Of course we did
It's been
that.
thought through. We knew this was going to happen.
So isn't that cool, you guys? I mean, I'm even thinking about what Katie just talked about, going away on that executive retreat. And they had these mind-bending exercises, right, to expand the mind and know that change is coming. So when you see that from your perspective, guys, what goes through your mind when you hear about Katie's thought that, change is coming and it's important to have a plan to anticipate that? Dennis, can I start with you?
Sure. I mean, me being an Eagle Scout, it's the motto is be prepared. So having a plan, planning for the unexpected is kind of part and parcel of what a solid company, a successful company needs to do. And especially over the past 2+ years, it's been from a business perspective, not only to maintain continuity for the business, but the rate of change is so exponential that it's up to the business to keep up. So whether the plan is small or the plan is big, it's got to be put in place, and you got to have the people in there to execute that plan. You got to maintain those open channels for your customers, and you got to stay nimble to increase and maintain that customer stickiness that we all know and love.
That we all know, love, and desire and want and strive for. Yeah. Will, how about yourself, man?
Sure. So I think, again, having the plan is key. And, something I tell my adult children, it's like, what, life is going to happen. Things are going to happen. Your car is going to need new brakes. The washing machine is going to break. So you can either plan for that, put some money aside, say, maybe I don't need a latte. Maybe I don't need the Netflix subscription. I'm going to put this away. And when the thing happens, it's just something that happens and you move on. Or if you don't plan, then it's an emergency. And then life goes on hold because you got to try to figure out how you're going to deal with that. So having the plan, obviously on a larger scales, is critical.
Is cool. Thanks, guys. And then as Katie and I continued on that conversation, she actually talked about, learning from the past. And she actually used Y2K at the time she was moving towards the N4 platform in terms of this whole managing change. So let me roll this last clip from the CEO film and then get your input on that.
But when we became an N4 partner and moved to our current computer platform, it was Y2K.
Yes,
Our current computers might not turn on.
That's what we were told, right? Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
So we had to move to a more sophisticated platform, more sophisticated partnership.
Yeah.
And so the work that went into that, people were pulled out of their current jobs. We actually just talked about this in our strategic planning meeting the other day, because we talked about how did we plan for that? What was the process we went through? We're thinking about, we need to improve our efficiencies. In distribution, you probably always need to improve our efficiencies, but we've had a period of fantastic growth, which requires us to think differently about how we're doing things.
Sure.
And we're at a point where it's becoming pretty urgent. So this is something that's really on the table in front of everybody. But we thought back to that Y2K computer system upgrade. How did we do that? How did we look at the processes we were currently utilizing and move to the processes we wanted to be utilizing in the future? So we used that experience to inform how we're going to improve our processes.
What another great idea, right? Look to the past, look to the lessons, that you can pull forward to drive that change. Yeah.
And it really took the whole team. It took Michael Miller raising his hand saying, hey, I've done this before. Hey guys, this is how we did this. He was on that team. He knew that. So the collective wisdom of all the people in the room, there are people asking new questions. Nathan Rubner asking new questions because he's newer to the business, going, why are we still doing it this way? And then Michael, full circle, saying,
there was a reason.
Well, and let's ask the question again.
Yeah.
We know how to change a process. We've done it before. Let's do it again.
So I wonder, when she talked about Michael Miller raising his hand, was he really raising his hand to offer insight or for more popcorn? What do you guys think? Probably more insight, but who knows though, right, Will? So guys, when you hear that example, right, and it happened to be an example of technology and the like, but when you hear that example that she shared, one thing that comes to my mind is Katie again just talked about, we need everybody's wisdom. We need everybody's genius. We need everybody's thinking. And in terms of leadership, being open to pull all that in to drive that change and the like. So, Will, how about yourself, man? When you saw that little clip, what goes through your mind there?
So I think it's two things, Dirk. So it's the first part of plan, and then it's partnership. Right? So for supply, their area of expertise is what they do. They're plumbing and keeping the water flowing and making it look nice. Infor, we're the partner. We know the distribution specific software, and we help them to align their processes and make them, allow them to do what they do in a more efficient manner, satisfies their customers.
Super cool. Thank you, Will. Dennis?
Yeah, so the message that resonated with me is continuous improvement.
Yeah.
You need to challenge your processes. You need to challenge the why. Why have we been doing this certain operation for the past 2 years or for the past 20 years?
Yep.
Maybe there's a way to do it better. So, and that's really the embodiment of how we are trying to support our customers with our overall strategy.
Yeah, love it. Love it, guys. Hey, guys, thank you. Thanks for sticking around, adding to this as we looked at a couple of the clips from the CEO interview. Again, thanks to the entire Infor team for making this happen. Will, Dennis, I'll just ask you one more time. I know you did it beforehand, but as we bring this first episode to an end of season 2, what would you like to say to the team at First Supply?
Will, I'll go first.
I say
First Supply team, thank you. I'll go first. So first of all, thank you. We truly value you as a customer, as a family business. We are honored to support you every single day of the week. We are so proud and humbled to be partnered with First Supply. You're an incredible customer, an incredible company. Congratulations on your 125 years in business. It's monumental, and not many companies can celebrate that milestone. And we're super excited to celebrate with you. And we look forward to what the next 125 years is going to look like.
All right.
So thank you.
Dennis, beautiful, well said. Will?
Yeah, I would just echo the sentiments. Congratulations on 125 years. Thank you so much for being amazing customers, and keep learning how to blow bubbles.
I love it. Will, Dennis, thank you so very, very much. Oh, sorry, I hit it too soon. Guys, thanks so very much. Hey, everybody, thank you. So We Supply America. I started off maybe an hour and 50 minutes ago saying how excited I was. The day is here. We Supply America last year started as a passion project, started as an idea, started as something coming out of COVID, figuring out what to do, what we could do to help. Started as a passion project. But I really believe it is now a calling of mine, a calling of Unleash WD, a calling of Bethany Hepler on my team, a calling of Jorby, our filmmaker. This country has some challenges. And I have to tell you, what I believe is the answers to so many of our challenges are inside the four walls of these independent family-owned distribution businesses like First Supply. when we think about the commitment to the individual, when we think about the commitment to this culture of family, when we think about providing opportunities, when we think about embracing individuals in tragedy, when we think about the collaboration and valuing your mind and your thinking, when we think about the diversity, when we think about the ways that individuals come together to align to achieve something great together, that there are so many lessons there beyond just the lessons of business. And so we Supply America, champion the noble calling of distribution. I think what you all do is absolutely not only important, it's critical to our society, it's critical to our country, it's critical to each and every individual. The 6 million of you that choose distribution as a career, but the way you touch all 330 million of us in this country, what you do is absolutely critical and important. And I think First Supply did an amazing job opening their doors to us to share their story about what makes them special. So you guys, everything is available at WeSupplyAmerica.net. There's that site, and here's what we have coming for the next 7 weeks in a row. Next Thursday, we're going to feature Robert Weed. From there, we're going to feature Rocket Industrial. From there, Dakota Supply Group. From there, C.H. Briggs, Jekyll Distributors, Eastern Industrial, and L&R Distributors. And we've got an amazing season coming up. So go to WeSupplyAmerica.net, and you can get access to the First Supply film right now, and you can get access to that CEO interview. So would you do me a favor? Guys, would you right there in the comments let me know about your thoughts about what you were exposed to today, what's going through your mind? I'd really, really appreciate it. You guys, thanks for joining us. We will see you next Thursday, 2:30 Central, when we kick it off again. Season 2 is underway, and we appreciate all you do, and thanks for joining us today. We'll see you out there, guys. We'll see you out on the road. Thanks, everybody.
In a post-pandemic world, leadership is being redefined. Forces outside of our control and forces within our businesses are calling us to be different leaders than we were going into the pandemic. Both new and veteran leaders throughout distribution are showing the way forward. These leaders are the noble generation. These leaders we need to meet. This is We Supply America, Season 2.